In April 2016, the People's Republic of China, PRC, kicked off its ambitious football development plan in the medium and long term, 2016 to 2050, with a clear objective in mind: transforming the nation into a global football powerhouse. This initiative was fueled by President Xi Jinping's unwavering vision, famously known as the 3 World Cup dreams. These dreams encompassed 3 remarkable milestones: to qualify for another FIFA World Cup, to host a World Cup edition, and ultimately, to secure victory in the grandest tournament of them all. President Xi Jinping's aspirations demonstrated China's unwavering commitment to the sport and its determination to leave an indelible mark on the world stage.
Before, I did not have the means, but now, for the past 10 years, I can afford it. I do not have a budget. If I want a player, I will have them at any cost.
Before Saudi Arabia's recent surge in spending, China was considered the emerging Asian powerhouse. President Xi Jinping's vision to develop the nation into a footballing force attracted significant investments, particularly from the real estate sector. As a result, Chinese Super League clubs began signing high-profile players like Oscar, Hulk, Paulinho, and Jackson Martinez, a feat previously unheard of for Asian clubs. However, the Chinese Super League and the country faced major financial challenges further exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2021, Jiangsu FC went out of business after its owners withdrew support. Another significant blow came in December 2022 when Guangzhou FC, with 8 Chinese titles and 2 Asian Champions League titles to its name, was relegated. While the pandemic played a part in the CSL's decline, the league's problems had already begun before the global health crisis. The transfer of Ezekiel Lavezzi from Paris Saint-Germain to Hebei China Fortune was a pivotal moment that potentially led the Chinese authorities to introduce a salary cap on foreign signings in 2021. Lavezzi reportedly earned an astonishing £798,000 per week during his 3-year stint in China before retiring in 2019, making him the highest earner in the CSL by a significant margin. The excessive debts accumulated through these high-profile signings ultimately led to the CSL's downfall.
Our level in football does not correspond to the great sports nation that we are, nor to the economic power that we are. So our great people want to see a level of football at the height of the greatness of our country.
Many top-tier Chinese clubs were owned by real estate investors who injected money into them to maintain favor with the ruling Chinese Communist Party, CCP. However, towards the end of the previous decade, the overheated real estate sector faced a slowdown, causing concerns for these private entities. The COVID-19 pandemic only expedited the inevitable decline of the CSL. The influx of Brazilian players in Chinese football had already begun before the signings of Oscar and Ramirez from Chelsea.
You know, in China, the Chinese people are rather basketball fans or ping pong or badminton fan rather than football. There's not in China a strong football fan base. There's not a culture of football, and it's quite hard to say that China is a kind of a football country. You know, it's quite hard to find people playing football in the street or wearing a football jersey like in France or in Argentina or in Brazil or in England. So no, I think it's not a big craze of football in the long term.
However, the high-profile signing of Hulk, who had made a name for himself at Porto and Zenit St. Petersburg, by Shanghai SIPG for a record-breaking £46 million transfer fee, brought significant attention to Chinese football.
It's true that China is spending a huge amount of money, and I think that the biggest challenge for China is to develop football sustainably at the grassroots levels, because without the grassroots levels, without the strong fan base, it will be very difficult for China to develop football in the long run, because it's not only a question of money, it's also a question of football fan, and without a football fan, without these grassroots levels, I think that it's the key. If China wants to develop football in the long run, they have to build a culture of football in the country.
Ramirez also decided to follow Hulk's path from Chelsea for Jiangsu Suning in a £25 million deal. The financial benefits and the opportunity to lead a revolution in a growing league were attractive to these players, and more big names soon followed suit, with Moussa Dembele leaving the Premier League for China and Manchester United's Fellaini opting to sign for Shandong Taishan. Nevertheless, the Chinese Football Association, CFA, implemented strict rules to reduce the number of foreign players on the pitch and promote regular playing time for Chinese players, with only 3 foreign players allowed per game, and a requirement for each 18-man squad to include at least 2 Chinese players under the age of 23. These regulations were aimed at improving the national team's prospects. In the following season, the number of foreign players allowed in each squad was further reduced from 5 to 4.
2到3流的水平，所以说现在如果谈世界杯，我觉得很难进，就没有可能进吧。作为一个这么多年的从业者，我说的这个可能有点悲观，但这是事实。
With the additional condition that the total number of foreign players appearing in a game could not exceed the number of U23 domestic players. To curb excessive spending on foreign players, a tax was introduced in 2018, requiring clubs to pay an equivalent fee to the CFA if they spent more than £5 million ($7 million) on an overseas player. This measure significantly reduced the influx of stars seeking a final payday in Asia, but clubs like Shanghai and Jiangsu faced even greater challenges.
没有那个欧洲那些看台画面好看，没有你们那么大 tifo， 没有那么多人放烟儿，我们这边都没有烟儿，并不是我们弄不出来这个 tifo， 也并不是我们不能放，不会放，但是我们真的不敢放。可能在我觉得就是中国啊，就是如果按照字面上这个 ultra 的这个定义来说的话，那我们肯定都不是。
As the Chinese Super League, CSL, faced its inevitable downfall, it serves as a cautionary tale for the Saudi Arabian League, which is currently experiencing its cash splurge. The CSL's excessive spending on high-profile foreign players without considering long-term sustainability and infrastructure development led to financial turmoil and club failures. The Saudi Arabian League should learn from this and focus on building a solid foundation, investing in grassroots development, and fostering sustainable growth rather than solely relying on expensive signings. By striking a balance between ambition and prudent financial management, the Saudi Arabian League can avoid the pitfalls that befell the once glamorous Chinese Super League, ensuring a prosperous and enduring future for football in the kingdom.
有的地方的孩子甚至买不起一双的足球鞋，那当然了，我说的是极少的个例啊。但是我就觉得，如果普及了，如果让更多的孩子愿意参加到足球运动，有时间和有经济条件参加到足球运动中，我觉得国家队的成绩自然而然就好了。
China today is ranked beyond the 80th place of the ranking of the FIFA, behind some countries like Uganda, like Syria. So, you know, the gap is quite huge.